How's it going? Happy Friday. Let everybody in here. You're probably not new here, but if you want to join, you can join in that Friday link at the top of the chat. Oh. Howdy, howdy. How's everyone doing today?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, as it is. Hey, I see Dimitri, Hubert, Pradeep.
Hey, Dimitri.
Been a long time.
Yeah, has been a long time. How are you doing?
Good, good. Yeah, it's because of the time zone. Here it's currently 4 o'clock, so if I need to work, then I'm too late to join you guys.
Yeah, that happens.
Stupid time zone.
No, it's stupid work. What are you talking about? Work. we're more important. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I still haven't figured out how to save an object properly in V2. It's not working like I want to.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
Are you going to be on the hero call?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I'm not a hero.
If you should be a hero. No, but in general, if nobody has questions later on, we can take a little time and see more or less what you're struggling with.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So to Isaiah's point, does anybody have, I mean, and Dimitri, as far as I'm concerned, your question is just as valid as anybody else's, right? That's what we're here for.
Yeah, but I have always difficult questions.
Well, I was gonna say,
that's exactly what I'm going with. Like, let's start with the easy ones first. Let's warm up to get to that point. Right. No, but that's okay. Go ahead, Ray. I think you're raising your hand, right?
I am raising my hand. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have a script here. I think if I may share my screen, I think it'd be easier to explain if I share my screen.
Yep, sure.
Okay, it is this one and share. Now, can you see my script? It starts with persistent.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me just run it, and I think you'll quickly
before you do that,
okay.
Can you confirm this is AutoHotkey V1 code, right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
set
cool.
it. I set it this way.
No, it's okay, but I think we should start always either having a requires directive at top, which we really recommend, or just saying this is V1 code or this is V2 code, so that the people who are viewing know more or less what type of code this is. Okay, so this is V1 code, and what happens when you open it?
It said, okay, I'll run it and explain the steps. First of all, okay, that's good. Okay, so the idea is I enter in a path of an Excel file that I want to open.
Right.
Which is this one.
All
Right.
right.
Okay, and I click OK, enter the start time. Okay, so let's say 10 o'clock, and then enter the interval. Now to show you, I'll put 0.25 of a minute, just so it'll go off, and then end time. Okay, and then it gives me a message telling me what it's going to do. Can you see that there?
Yes. So every 15 minutes is starting at 10 and ending at 11. It's going to try to open that file open and over and over again. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, every 15 seconds though.
Oh, seconds. Oh, right.
Just
Sorry.
to
Yeah.
demonstrate for you. Ordinarily, I would set it for an hour, but
right.
I want to show you the problem. Now it should go off in 15 seconds.
All right.
The problem is that it doesn't open the file. You see, it does the counter, the center
The set
function
timer
has run one
Okay.
time.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but it never opens the file. Now
right.
sorry. Okay, so now it's run 2 times. Okay, wait, I have to say okay. Okay, now I tested the command here.
Yeah.
Okay, it's run 3 times, but you see it never
Yeah,
opens
I understand.
the file.
Right.
Here,
Let's see what it's trying to do. So
I've got Excel open. Okay, anyway, I guess I'll stop it now. Okay. Okay, I approve.
Okay, cool. Let's take a look. Did you stop the script now, right?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, let's stop it first.
Okay, that's the one. Okay, pause.
No, stop it completely. Just stop it.
Stop it completely.
Right.
So pausing is different from exit?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's the point. So when we stop it completely, it means that we're exiting the program. So here's the thing. Let's start by adding here the single instance force.
Well, actually, for the time being, I wanted it to come up each time just that I see, but anyway.
Yeah, I understand. So that you want to know that it restarted, right?
Yeah,
so you wanted to see. Okay, cool. Now, in any case, we're getting all the information out here.
Right.
Now we set a timer. That's
Right.
okay. Now our timer. Yeah, sure. Right. So now what happens is you check for the time.
Yeah.
And this part seems to be working, but here's the problem. Here's the thing.
Okay.
You actually have a specific format that you have to use.
Really?
You're not using that specific format. And actually in the message, as soon as you did it, I was like, hey, that was wrong. The problem is you used time, hours and minutes only,
right.
But the format is hours, minutes, and seconds. I don't know how this.
I tried that once. Can I reset? Can I reset the format by getting rid of the seconds? I don't need.
Yeah, you can. But let's try. Yeah, let's try something out. But here's the thing. My main point is there is a whole if statement that if this is not true, none of the code below runs. So that means we have to check whether that statement is ever true. You see what I mean? So anything, especially the part where it opens, let me see, where is the part that it opens Excel? So let me see.
So it was right after that, wasn't it?
Yeah, here
I
at the bottom. So here at the bottom is where it opens. So there's two if statements that we have to check. First of all, we have to check if this one is true at any point in time. If it is, it will go down there. But then the other one here is actually telling me whether this is wrong. Now, I know from experience that this part of the code is never getting executed. The reason for that is that if it was true, you would get a message box. If it was false, you would also get a message box. So as I'm not getting any message boxes regarding that Excel is open or not open, I know that this piece of code is never executing. And that means that this if statement here is never true. That's what happens. So the way how we can, yeah, go ahead.
What I want to bring up as a step before, what you easily could have done was after your message box on line 31, which we're seeing, hey, as they saying, like, go to line 36 and put a message box there, because the launching of Excel can be a bit complicated. It can be. It's not usually, but it can be. So why not make sure we actually are getting, that's his point, is let's make sure we're getting where we think we are before we look into, is our code for launching Excel correct or not?
Right, exactly. So basically what Joe is saying, just make a message box true here to see if you ever get to that point, right? The thing is that based on experience, I can tell you're never getting there because I saw two message box below that I should have gotten either or. So it's the same thing. I'm just skipping a step, but to Joe's point, it's better to test step by step. And I would just add that message box on line 39 to see if I ever get there. And we can test it very quickly. Check this out. We're never going to get this true, probably. So let's run the script. Let's do the thing. So let's say the full path. No, sorry. Let me, I think I know where you got it. You got it in the clipboard.
right there. Yeah.
Now, another thing is that I see that you have quotation marks around this file. And down here on the run command, you also have quotations. So your quotations will be doubled, which
it's going to throw it off. It's going to throw it off.
I don't know. We will test that in a second, right? But another thing to keep in mind is you are putting quotation marks here which probably you don't want. But we will see how to fix that. Let's see. So let's say 10 a.m. You said 10 to 11.
Did you want to put it in? Oh, right. Change the format. Okay.
Yeah, we did change it, but let's do the thing first. Let's see what happens. That's okay. So right now I'm expecting a message box in 15 seconds. So I should get two message boxes. One saying how many times the function has run and another one saying true. But I am suspecting that line 39 is never going to pop up. And there it is. So this if statement never actually ran. So let's take a look at what current time is. Let's take a look at what start time is, because start time and end time. So let's stop the script now. Hold on. So our issue is this if statement, as I was suspecting. Now here, this is the quick way to verify whether that is always going to be true. And what I can do also is, so what I'm doing is just message boxing all the variables to really inspect them. But I also want to inspect the result. I want to see what the result is. So this part here will always return either 1 or 0. So true or false. So this is always returning 0. Now here on the left, I want to message box all the variables to see why it's returning 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's run it. So let's say 10 a.m. You said 10 to 11. 10 to 11. So our issue is this if statement, as I was suspecting. Now here, this is the quick way to verify whether that is always going to be true. And what I can do also is, so what I'm doing is just message boxing all the variables to really inspect them. But I also want to inspect the result. So this part here will always return 0. Now here on the left, I want to message box all the variables to see why it's returning 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's run it.
You also could have just done a message box to list vars, just FYI.
Exactly. You could use list vars if you want.
It's just a simple, easy way to take a quick look at all of them.
Right.
Not as nice as what he's doing, because if you have a lot of stuff, it's confusing, but
That's what I was going to say. As soon as you have too many variables, or, you know, the script has too many variables, it's going to be a long list. Here
Well,
we're
and
just
that's
taking a
where-
look at the
you could, you know, dump it to that site output window with that command.
right. Exactly.
A little easier. It also wouldn't block the script from running.
Right. So let's take a look at
The
this.
other one, Ray, that now I know you're using these in your thing, but I'll often disable stuff that is working and focus on the stuff that's not working, you know, because I don't want to, when I'm testing this, do I really want to enter that information every time? So you could just hard code values for that instead of collecting the data every time while you're fixing your problem.
All
Does
right.
that make sense?
This is one of those errors. And again, I know what the error is. I was not sure why I didn't catch it, but it is the problem here is that AutoHotkey didn't inform you of a syntax error. That's what's going on. So AutoHotkey version 1, the reason why I'm moving away from it is that it didn't throw an error. It should have thrown an error on line 34, but it didn't. What happens is that anow.format is that doesn't exist. That is bad syntax. Anow is not an object. And even if it was, it doesn't have the format method. That's what's going on. So how this works is that you have to use the format function. And the first parameter is anow. And then you have to go ahead and do whatever format you want. But that's wrong too, because the format function doesn't work like that. It's not how it works. So what you want actually is the set, say format time, I think. This is the one that you want to use. This is a method that does what you are expecting. The first parameter is what variable you want to get, where you want to save the information. The second parameter is what variable or what number you want to use. You can default to anow, but you don't have to put anything. If you don't put anything, it would default to anow. And now you put the formatting, the time format that you're expecting. I think that's the way to use it. But this whole line, this line 34 was totally wrong. That's why. And the funny thing is that AutoHotkey didn't give you any information about that. Now let's go ahead and open the help file. Let me open the help file. Probably, is that opening in a different window? Can you take a look at and see if there's a help file from AutoHotkey open somewhere?
No.
All right, then let's try this. Let's try. AutoHotkey help. Where's the help file? Well, it is not there. Let's do it on the browser. Can you open a browser window? Okay, so let's open up a new tab, right? Let's go to AutoHotkey.com and let's take a look at the documentation. So here at the top is the documentation. We're going to be focusing on V1 right now. And here we're going to look for format time.
Just because I happen to notice ChatGPT was there, it for V1, it probably would have given you some good code for getting the time in the format you wanted.
That is true. That is true.
Oh, that was all ChatGPT. I'm not I'm nowhere near the level of being able to write that. I started off with a ChatGPT and I guess it just hallucinated that.
Well, you know, the thing is, Ray, after you get it and you put it in, if it doesn't work, tell it the errors you're getting.
Oh,
Exactly.
I did a couple of times.
Right.
It suggested a number of things like test the path, make sure Excel is working. As I went through those things, and I was still mystified.
Yeah.
Don't
At least
worry.
that's good that you were at least thinking to go back to it and ask it to try to fix it, right? Because it often can point you in the right direction. We've used it several times where it's helped us save a lot of time.
Okay, so now listen to this. You remember the message box that we have in lines 36?
Yes.
Now you see the greater than and equals to.
Yeah.
That's why I noticed something was wrong, because on the left of that, everything was empty, and I'm expecting a number there. That's why I was like, okay, that's not good. Now, another problem that you will have is the fact that you cannot compare times that way. Okay. So your current time, that is a string like 1000. I don't know if you can compare a time like that. What you would need are strings like a now to be able to compare the two strings. So even though I know what you're trying to do, this might not be a good way to do it, because, and let's test it. So I'm gonna finish up the script. I'm gonna exit it. This second time, when I run it now, as I'm formatting the time correctly, this whole line is gonna show up correct, but still the result might be 0, because I don't think you can compare that like that. So let's try that again. Sometimes the Windows pasting thing is not working correctly. So 1000.
Why didn't you say 0.1? Just to make
No,
it
I fixed it, right? I fixed it. So here's the thing. Every 0.25 minutes at 10, ending at 11, right? So everything is good. I'm gonna get the first message box, that's okay. And then we're gonna see the values and see what they look like, but the result is going to be 0, I think. Because this comparison, this greater than or equals to. So now, okay, so I have 1021 more than 10 and 1021 less than 11. At this point, you might think is working, but this comparison is comparing two strings, not as numbers. And that's where it's going to fail. There's going to be sometimes some time frames in which this comparison is going to throw a 0, even though it should have thrown a 1, or the other way around. It will throw a 1 when it should have returned 0, because it's making string comparisons. In any case, now that should open Excel. Look at that.
But it's gone further.
Right.
Oh.
So
And-
now it will open it.
Well, no, all it does is open directory opus and
Right.
should be the subdirectory. It doesn't open the Excel file.
Okay, no, but that I think has to do with the double quotation marks that we were referring to before.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and
so-
get the double quotes out. And I will talk about that in a second. But again, let me remove this message box here. So we know that that is kind of working right now. So
What's your goal though, Ray? Like, why are you checking the time?
No, the prior box should have had the address of the file.
all right, it's true. Ooh,
I guess.
right.
Exit.
I have to exit the script. Cancel is not going to help there. Reload it. So this is the path. I'm going to put the 10. I'm going to put the 325. And I'm going to put the 11 here. So now I say, okay, I removed the quotation marks from this part. Let's see what happens.
Part of the reason for doing this is to learn to do it. It's Joe, answering your question. I want to run a spreadsheet file at regular intervals.
Well, and that's what I mean, I would just have put that in a set timer. And then if you wanted it where it was, hey, you want to end it after a certain amount of times, just have a counter keeping track of how long it's been running and end it. But anyway, I was just curious.
Now I see that something.
Oh, it
supposedly
opened.
Yeah, that's what I was
opened.
gonna say. Yeah, so it should have opened. So
What-
the double quotation
What was the
marks,
magic? What was the
right?
magic?
As I
just-
mentioned, so the point is, the
See, it
problem-
opened, but it
Oh,
opened
right.
in the other screen, and
All right.
that was a prior error that I captured.
Okay, so let's do this. Let me just 1 minute. Let's exit the script. Let's minimize this. Oh, sorry. I think I didn't exit it. All right. So you remember here on the run,
Yes,
line?
yes, the
you
double
had
quotation.
quotations here. Now, one way, and this is the way how I would do it, is that I make sure that if you see when you ask for the Excel path, I just make sure to remove any quotation mark. So string replace from itself. And what I want to do is grab any quotation marks and remove them. So just if by mistake you put quotation marks in the path, I would strip them out because I'm sure that I'm going to put them down here. And that way I make sure that it's not doubled. Does that make sense?
Clever.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. So
The code though, right here, this is where if you were using V2, it would look so much nicer with that code he just did, because you could use the single quotes outside of the double quotes. And
Right.
it just,
Well, actually, it wouldn't look like anything at all, because I wouldn't be able to write anything like this. I'm standing on the shoulders of ChatGPT.
now another thing that I would do myself, this is the type of things that ChatGPT doesn't take into account, is if you cancel, this variable is blank. Well, not really. There is error level if is set to 1. So if error level is set to 1, then don't continue because I just canceled. Does that make sense?
Oh, clever. Good.
Right,
idea,
because
good
the thing is
improvement.
that if at any point I hit the cancel button,
Then I
I
had to go
don't-
through the whole thing.
exactly, and then stop the script and do a lot of things. But basically, at least I would either that or reload the app so that you could kind of like
Start
try
again.
again. Right, exactly. So maybe you can reload instead of canceling, instead of returning, so that, let's try it out. If I run the script and I put a file or cancel here, it should just ask me again, right?
I was going to ask you, is given something so short, where it's 2 lines, would you create a function for that, or would you just leave it like that normally?
When you say 2 lines like this here?
You have your if error and your reload. But
Oh
you did-
yeah, basically no. So basically, that was one of the points that I was going to touch on. Input box is a very quick way of getting data from the user, but then you had to each thing ask for it. That's where a GUI comes into place, that I could have one GUI that asks for all the things that you need and just hit once. Okay. But to your point, Joe, yes, as soon as I see this that is repeating code like this, I would create kind of like a little function there that pass, or the whole input box kind of thing,
Right,
all
all
of this.
three of those together,
Right. So that's where I would just go ahead and say, hey, ask user. I would
User.
create my function. And then after I put the code, then I start looking at the things that I need. So for example, the start time would be the variable. That would be a byref, for example, byref variable. That's going to be here. For example, this is going to be var.
So Ray, again, functions are by far the lowest hanging fruit to level you up, right?
This is the title. So I'm going to set
best
the
magic
title here.
that can really help you
I'm going to put it here.
streamline your code, and they're not that hard to get to understand.
Right. Then the query. So this is the prompt down here.
Why are you using a byref though?
No, that's what I was going to think about right now. So this is the prompt. Yeah, I don't need that, because what I could do is just have a variable down here and return it. Return the variable, right? So the only thing that changed is the title and the prompt. And for that reason, I would just go ahead and make them variables so that you can pass them to the function. And whatever I capture, then I'm going to return it in the function. So now what I would say is ask user. And I would say here, ask user for the Excel path. Ooh, how do I say, the cursor keeps disappearing. Right. So I have one, and this is the prompt. Comma, and this is the prompt. Now all of this is repeated code. And now this does exactly the same as the input, but now I just have to, instead of repeating the whole code over and over, I just have to change the variable here and the prompts. Does that make sense? So that way, all of them behave the same way. Like they would reload if you press escape. Does that make sense? And I don't need to be having so many lines of code for the same thing. So
Very efficient.
it is a way, and then in the end, as I see that the code is kind of like repeating, then I would do a loop that would do the same thing, but in a different way. But then again, I don't know if this takes, at least starts you into the idea of why I would use a function and how I would go about doing the function. I usually create the code first, and then after I notice a pattern or something, then I go ahead and grab the parts of that change and make them into parameters. That's what it usually boils down to.
When you start off your script and you write pseudocode, so you're not writing code, you're writing what you want to have happen. Often when you're writing that out, you'll see the pattern before you actually write the code. You're like, oh, yeah, I keep doing this same task process over and over. I'm going to create a function. It doesn't always happen, but it does often.
A lot of times, yes.
And one of the real benefits of this, Ray, is now let's say instead of reloading, you wanted it to just exit.
Right.
Then one change in your function.
Right. Instead of 4 times, instead of changing reload 4 times, I just change it once. So that's basically, now if when I ask the user for something, I don't want it to reload, now I just change it once down here, exit app. That's it. I just change it once instead of 4 times. Does that make sense? Right. So basically, when you create a function, you are saving yourself a lot of time in the long run. Right now, if I run this code, I would expect it to do exactly the same. It's going to ask you for the path. It's going to do the other things. So in the end, Now, if I cancel, it should reload. There it is. You see?
And if I decide not to run it, then I'd exit down using.
Right, exactly. So if you decide, you could definitely ask that. Like, for example, I could create a message box, a yes or no message box. So you canceled, do you want to exit? And you would say message box, I think is a yes or no. I don't know. I don't remember the number for yes or no, but you could say you canceled. Do you want to exit the script? And then say if message box yes, right? Then exit app, else reload.
And then as I show,
Now-
let's say you really wanted to have the widths and heights adjusted on each one.
Right. So this is the width and height. I could pass that as I could make that a parameter. So I would put here width or whatever it is, width, and I would add it as a parameter to this here, width, and I would make it a default of 250 because that's what I had, and height is going to be 150, and now that is also something that can vary. So you usually write the code first, and after you write it, then you decide what things you want to change at every single step. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Sort of its levels of abstraction.
Right. Now, this message box, I don't remember the yes or no button. If we go back to the, can you go back to the browser, which is the one that we were using? This one here with format. Oh, I think you clicked on it. Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it is on a different window now.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'll bring it over. Oh, draft. Sorry. Okay, click here. Bring it over. Okay.
Right. So now here, if we click on message box, you can see that in the options, you can say a yes or no button is 03. So that's the one that I want. I don't need, I was just going off of memory here. This is the one that you want, right? So now if I do this and I cancel, it would ask me, do you want to exit the script? Hey, you
Beautiful.
canceled. Do you want to exit the script?
Beautiful.
No or yes. If I say no,
Let's go
it
no.
should reload, right? If I say yes, it should actually exit the application. You see?
Will it bring, if it is open, will it bring it to the top of the desktop?
When you say if it is open, what are you referring to? To the Excel
Like,
file?
yeah, exactly.
Right. When you run an application like this, it would, now, if it is open right here, is not, let me see, winget title, win activate this guy. Right, yes, it activates it if it finds it.
Okay,
It would bring it to the front.
can we test that?
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and run the script. Let's put a path here. We have it down here. We say okay. And 1:25, 11 a.m. Now it would start. So after it opens, what you're going to do is just click away. Let's go ahead and open a different window. And let's see what happens on the next. Now, I'm just going to say, I'm not going to go over it right now because it might be a little bit more. It's not open. It says, okay, it will open it.
Bingo, it
Now let's,
opened it.
now let's click outside and see what happens when it runs the second time. Should go ahead and, so the second time. Oh, it says that it's not open.
But then it brought it to the front.
Right. That's right. So Excel knows what to do with it. You don't have to have that part in it. So, okay, so let's close the script. Now, I'm not going to go over it right now because it might get too confusing or it might get a little bit trickier. But
It's pretty tricky already.
No, but I'm going to tell you, this way of comparing times is not correct. That's going to cause a problem in certain situations. I just say that by experience.
It's a string instead of
yeah, instead of numbers. So it's not really checking numbers in the sense of how you are expecting it to do.
like in Excel, it checks serial numbers for time, right?
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. You see the A now that we're using right now, the current time, the A now?
Yes.
That is a number that can be compared, like what is greater and what is lesser. Using the format that you're doing right here, you see this? What you have to do at some point is convert that format into a timestamp. That's what has to be done. So that's the part that is going to be tricky, and that's why I will not go into it right now unless somebody else doesn't have any questions, because we took almost the whole time. Right, exactly. So let's go ahead and stop here. But that's the part that I know that is going to be a problem.
Is there a function or a command to do that?
Not really.
Oh.
No. So let's go ahead and take the other questions and see how.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
So you ended my screen sharing.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, thanks for the time. Thanks for all those ideas. That was really very edifying. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Dragos, you were saying you have a command line interface stuff you use to access the database at work?
Hi, yes, that's what I'm working with. I can't really show that because I'm not on my work computer, and I would rather not share the tools we have at work.
Yeah.
But I can share you a quick example of what I'm trying to do from my computer. Okay, let me share this site. So I'm trying to make something like this where I can type whatever. So let's
Zoom
say
in on that, please.
Whoops.
Sorry, it's
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
is that okay? Cool.
Okay.
So for example, I'm trying to get like GD Dragos, like my name, and then it would just replace this whole string with this, and instead of the
Replace
username here,
username
it would
with
put my name. But I would want to do that without an input box if possible.
That's interesting. I know what you're suggesting. So you want part of the hot string to be a variable.
Yes.
Right now, I am not sure that is possible. Not as a hot string like that. It would be something else. Let me see. This is a very good question, actually. For now, go ahead, Joe. Let me see if you have any ideas.
You can have it. You could, as long as you're in an editor, you know, something that you could type in. So you could use that, and it's easy to select. Like maybe you type it out and select it, and then you could easily grab what's selected, and then it'd be easy to merge it together. But if
what Joe is going to what he's doing, can I have a request for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Right. A very quick way of doing that would be, instead of having that, would be here putting a clipboard, and it would just send whatever is on the clipboard. Now, before that, you see what I mean? So so that's possible. Now, there's two ways. Either when you press this, it would copy whatever is there. So I could just simply copy whatever
Send-
you have selected. So control copy before sending something else, or let's do it like this.
Yeah, break it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Just wait for a clipboard. Let's just go. Well, I don't know. This is V1, right? So it's clipboard, by the way. Empty the clipboard. Send Control C. Clip wait. Right. And that allows me to know that the clipboard changed, and I could have some checking if error level. That means that the clipboard didn't copy anything. Then I would just return, so I know that nothing was on the clipboard at that point. And then after I know that I copied something, then I would go ahead. The problem with that is that it would require you to double click something before doing the thing. So if I run this script, can you save it, please?
Yeah, sure.
So we can test it.
Make it as the best.
Right. So now this this part, let's go ahead and say username. I would have to select it, and then I cannot do that either. So I have to copy. Let's rephrase all this. Let's just remove all that. Let's just go ahead and send the clipboard at that moment. So reload.
I think you have to give an extension to the file name.
Oh yeah, it was saved without the extension. Sorry.
All right.
Good catch, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it should be good.
All right. So let's run it.
Happens often.
Something. Hold on. What? Program is not a recognized as an internal or external command. What? Where is that?
Oh yeah, I always get that error when I run it and I didn't have the time to troubleshoot it. I usually just run the scripts off of my desktop.
Right.
try to
It
test
seems
them.
to be the. Huh. Okay, let's just open the file directly. Like, where is it? Here? No, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to open the folder. Can you open Explorer? Well, I could
Yeah.
just hit Windows E.
You should mentioned we could use the input command to easily grab text
Without an input box?
that's typed after a partial hot string is triggered.
Okay, can you? I don't know if you opened Explorer, but I cannot see anything. So I would guess
Yeah, let me
right, just
switch the
just
share
double click
because
on
it's
the
just on the
yeah. Okay, I get it.
Just on the program. Now you should be able to see it.
Right. Yes. So this is the script. I think it is working. So let's use user name, cut that and say GD. And there's
Okay.
your username right there. Now, this GD, for whatever reason, was deleted. Hold on, you see? GD. Right, it is being deleted. What you want is but 0.
No, that's okay. That's how I
okay.
want to set it up to
all right,
replace
all
the
right.
/GD with that string.
All right, so that's one way of doing it. So you would have to first cut and then do the GD, which might not be as useful as you might want.
But we
But-
can look at Geek Dude's suggestion of the input.
Right, so there is the input command. Now, what I'm not really sure about is, so I have never used that command. I would assume that that takes a variable here. Or we can just, let me see. I tried to open the help file. Can you take a look if it opened in a different window?
No, sorry, my connection dropped for a second. Can you say that again?
Can you check if the help file from AutoHotkey is actually opening somewhere that I can see?
No, it's not opening.
Oh, so it has an issue. So let's open a browser just quickly.
Yep.
You put a link in the chat to this page, to the page for this command.
Okay, cool. If you can click on that, that would be great. So
Chat here. This one.
yeah.
Okay.
So this command takes a variable, right? Now you have some options. What is this all about? The limit, how much you want to let, modified key strings are recognized, timeout, visible.
See, Isaias reads stuff. I just go to the bottom and look at the example and see if there's an example. And I'm not saying do that, Isaias. I'm just saying.
No, I understood. So
You're
for
studying it,
example,
I'm like,
right,
for
here we
example,
go.
okay.
So
'Cause-
this is, what happens is, what I was looking for is the ending characters. Very likely there's something that stops you from, so let's say, I would assume that is, hold on, end keys, there it is. So there's so after the options, you can put the end keys, which means you're gonna start the let me see.
Like recording whatever keys I'm pressing, and then
Right. So
once I
let's
press
say,
the end key, that's when it stops recording.
right, exactly. So at this point, I would assume that the end keys would be enter, for example. Let's say that.
Mhm.
And I don't need the whole, I don't know what that was. What? No,
You two threw up an example there, by the way,
right.
a paste bin link to go out.
All right. But basically, this is what gig duty is referring to. As soon as the GD is pressed, it's going to wait for you to type something. You put your username and hit enter, and that would be sent into the, that's basically the idea behind it. Let's test it out unless there's anything else that I need to do. GD, I press tab. Oh no, so that went straight into that. Why did I reload? I think I should have reloaded. Can you stop the script? Well, maybe
Yep.
let me see. Yeah, can you stop the script just so we can make sure? Let's run it again then. Right, and then if I do GD, no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
it didn't get saved.
No. Oh, right. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, the problem is that I'm so used to not having to save the file whenever I have to run it. But GD now is waiting for me. Let's say user name, enter. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's another way of doing it. Right, so GD tab, username, enter, and it would just put it. Does that make sense?
Yep. That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah, that's another way.
By the way, not that we have to go there, but we were just helping someone the day, but there's ways you can programmatically connect with SQL and stuff to databases. I don't know if that's, I think you said you were connecting to some sort of a database.
Yes.
But you could actually possibly do that directly from AutoHotkey.
And an option that could be interesting is the V option that would make what you type visible. So after, instead of typing in nowhere, you see what you type.
Exactly. Yeah, which happened to me. I put like iUser because I missed one keystroke and I didn't know if I missed it or not, so I kept going. But if you make it visible, then yeah, to your point, John, that's better.
And John actually had a question. Did that finish you, Dragos? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
So John, what were you going to ask?
In fact, it's more an issue if you have any clue on why something is not working. I have this piece of code here that sets hotkeys that are executed if my window is active, the window of the editor I'm working on. And what it does, if in the editor you press enter or space or tab, it will do something. The thing in question is being to add something to the undo pile that I'm having in this editor to allow the user to do undos in the editor. The thing is that the tab key here is not working, and I don't know why. So if I run this, if I press space, it will call. So this action for now, just for debugging, I'm checking if it is happening. So pressing space is working. Pressing enter is also working, but pressing tab is not working.
So
Is
hold
there
on.
a way to
is.
create
No,
this
I know what
hotkey
it
that-
is. No,
Yeah.
no, I know what it is. Your editor has the want tab. So if
I-
you go to the edit control, does that still?
Yeah, I just tried removing it. So
Removing the one
you're
tab.
right. So I will just remove it here.
Uh-huh.
It's there twice because there are two controls, one with wrap on and the other with wrap off. So I just
Hold on,
Just
but
to make
no,
sure.
so now just when you create the control, can you
Yeah.
put -want tab? You see where it says want return? So I see it right about here. Can you change or add right next to it -want tab?
yeah.
Does that what does that do?
This
No, want tab. Just
one tab.
how-
Yeah. Okay.
right, like that.
Yeah, I'm doing it here, but with a GUI control
Right,
command
but let's
that's
do
doing
it when
the
you
same
create it. Well,
okay,
that might be different sometimes.
with wrap
yeah.
on. Okay, we'll try it. Yeah.
Let's try that and see if that, once you do it,
So it's not doing it. It's just tabbing.
not,
So
yeah, exactly. So
one
ooh, that's
tab plus.
interesting.
So is it plus?
No, yeah, if you put the tab, then it's gonna go ahead and
Yeah. So
capture
here
it.
the tab works as I want it, but
Mhm.
it does
No, I
not trigger.
understand. Yeah,
Does not trigger the command.
I would have thought that it was because of the one tab, but that's
I tried
interesting.
that, and I tried toggling these lines here where
Mhm,
I'm doing
mhm.
quite the same of that, but just on a different line.
Mhm.
For some reason, I don't remember why, but there was a reason why I did it in a second step.
Do you have
Oh
any
yeah, because
other-
it is an option that you can toggle. That's why I'm
do you
doing it.
have any other hotkeys with the tab?
No,
That's the only one you have.
I have other hotkeys here, but none with tab.
Tab. Control T, yeah, there it is. That one.
Control T is tab.
Uh-huh. Well, no, actually, it's just
No.
Control T. Sorry.
I could
just
yeah.
got confused.
I
No,
could just,
I got confused
just to
on
make
that one.
sure.
Right, but I got confused on that one. No, but that's interesting. I'm gonna try it out and let you know if I get the same issue. So the only thing is that you're making it, if that window is active, hold on. So all the others work, so it's not the Windows active. I will check if that happens to me as well with an edit control.
Yeah.
And did you remove all the other settings for the remove control, like the word wrap, those kind of things, like word
I
wrap?
could remove other options here to make it plain,
to make
because
sure.
I tried it here in a very simple command and it works. So let me run this one.
No,
So,
hold on. But it would
Yeah.
be only if that edit control is active. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
your example is not the same as what you're testing here.
no, you're right. And it's
Yeah.
only, in fact, in the,
Exactly.
if the window, the GUI is
Just
active.
grab that and copy that function and put it on your test script, and that should either result in the same error or. So if you copy line
No,
501,
but-
and
but-
copy
but,
the function.
Which line? This one?
Oh, right. No, sorry. I get it. So instead of those windows, you should make it if window, the one that you're testing now. So
Yeah.
you should do a hotkey if as well on the tab, on the test that you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will
okay.
try it. I will try that myself. I'm gonna create a simple GUI, check if my GUI is active and make a hotkey for the tab. It should definitely.
Okay, I'll check. I'll make a more complete example here with just what we want to test, and maybe in the next hour we can share. I can share this with you.
I can even try it while we go there.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for being here.
Welcome.
We're at the end of the hour. We got to jump to the hero group. Isaias, what I know we talked several different topics we were going to cover. One
Right,
was
but yeah, we're gonna be talking about certain type of issues when you have like tree views and you
right.
want to save file. That's one way of looking at it, and other little details about working with saving data in a database and stuff. Yeah.
awesome, everyone. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Heroes, see you over there. Bye.